Hi guys, I'm Jessica and welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are all doing well today. So I wanted to do another mini book review of the recent book that I have read, just to share my thoughts with you guys. Hopefully it'll inspire you to read the book, or not if I guess if I didn't like it. But here we are, we're back again, and let's dive right into it. And if you haven't checked out my other book review where I read You Had Me at Ola by Alexa Staria, go ahead and check that out as well. So the book that I'm going to be reviewing is called The Whisper Man by Alex North. And I first heard about this book, I think it was swarming around Bookstagram, and I saw a few people blog about it. And it's perfect since it's now October and I really want to get all of the spooky vibes going, so I decided to pick this up and I'm really happy I did. So I do want to say that this review will contain some spoilers, so if you have not read the book or you're wanting to read the book and you don't like spoilers, then don't watch this. However, if you have read the book or you don't care about spoilers and you want to join in my discussion of the book, then definitely please keep watching. I also do want to say that this review, or this book, does have some triggers in it, and it does contain the murder of young children. So just want to throw that out there before I get into the story too much. So let's start off with the plot. So the story centers on this man named Tom Kennedy, whose wife has just passed, and he decides to kind of just start everything over and move to a new town called Featherbank with his young son named Jake. They move into this very creepy and eerie house whom his son has been really enamored with from the very beginning. So in the town of Featherbank, there are tales and real disappearances of young adolescent boys that leave the town with an extremely dark past. These children are abducted by this serial killer who goes by the name of Whisper Man. And just to throw in the creepy vibe, a lot of the children will kind of chant this little poem that is really filtered throughout the book, and I'll read it to you. If you leave a door half open, soon you'll hear the whisper spoken. If you play outside alone, soon you won't be going home. If your window's left unlatched, you'll hear him tapping at the glass. If you're lonely, sad, and blue, the Whisper Man will come for you. So, that is the little poem that children will chant in the town, and it's pretty much how the Whisper Man will capture you or the children. He'll go around at nighttime and whisper to the kids at night or at their window, and then abducts them and then kills them. So, very dark indeed. So, in the book, the Whisper Man actually is a real person. He goes by the name of Frank Carter, who is actually currently held in prison due to all the brutal murders that he has committed against these young boys. However, the young boy named Jake, Tom Kennedy's son, experiences these weird sightings / whisperings of this voice, which leaves the reader to question, well, who is continuing the work of the Whisper Man if he is supposed to be in jail? That's where the story brings in two detectives, Amanda Beck and Pete Willis. They try to solve this weird continuance of the Whisper Man's work while also focusing on the past murders that Frank Carter has committed. So yeah, that's just a general overview of the Whisper Man. Eventually we do figure out who this Whisper Man 2.0 is through the work of not only the two detectives, but also the father, who has a stronger connection to the story and the house that they live in than is initially given off. Overall, I would say that this book was very chilling, slightly scary at times, and I thought that Alex North did a great job of really in capturing that haunting feeling. Alright, so let's move into the characters. So the characters in the book I liked. I really did like Tom Kennedy. I love the love that he had for his son. You could really see how he struggled with losing his wife and having to move on in his life. So I thought that the portrayal of him was quite nice. The detective, was it Pete? Pete Willis? Yes, it was Pete Willis. I liked Pete Willis. He had a interesting backstory to him. I wish that we got a little bit more of like why he was an alcoholic, because he did struggle with alcoholism. And the connection with Pete Willis to Tom Kennedy is that they are actually father and son. So I thought that that was a very interesting twist to the story. The other detective, Amanda Beck, didn't really feel any connection to her, but yeah, did she do a good job being a detective? I mean, sure, but character-wise, I felt like she wasn't that fleshed out, in my opinion, and maybe that was the author's intention. So, also the Whisper Man, Frank Carter, and then his son. I thought that those characters, I wanted so much more, and maybe that's because I really like the intricacies of characters, and I want to know the backstories, especially if it is a serial killer. I just wish we had a little bit more backstory to Frank Carter, who is the Whisper Man, and then also his son as well. I just felt like there was not a lot of context other than they were just really deranged and mental, in my opinion. So, yeah, I didn't really like their characters so much, and I wish and not saying I would like a serial killer, but I just thought that there should have been a little bit more oomph. You know what I mean? A little bit more oomph to those characters. I just didn't feel it. So the only character that I truly did like was Tom Kennedy, the main character, and his young son, Jake, whom I just felt so bad for, because that poor kid is probably traumatized for life, okay? He needs some serious therapy after what he goes through. I mean, being abducted, being haunted in the house, like, they need to move ASAP, okay? That's all I have to say about it. But I thought the characters were so-so, in my opinion. Some of it left a lot of, like, missing gaps, but overall, I thought that the story itself was very good, and the characters were decent. All right, so my overall thoughts of the book were, I liked it. I really did like the book. I thought that it was chilling. I was not scared at all. Like, there are definitely creepy parts in the book where I was like, oh, whoa, that is creepy. But I wasn't scared. I didn't have nightmares with the book, and I kind of wanted some nightmares. You know, don't you ever go through that where you're like, I want some nightmares by reading a book? I didn't get any nightmares, but I will say they have a lot of chilling parts that I really enjoyed very thoroughly. I will say there are a lot of missing gaps in this book, like a lot of questions that need answers, okay, folks? For example, in the beginning of the book, Tom Kennedy states that he sometimes forgets to lock his front door. Like, he just was like, oh, yes, I don't even bother to lock my front door. What? Really? How do you not lock your front door? Like, that's insane to me. You live in a house, in this weird, creepy looking house, and then you just happen to forget locking your doors at night, especially if you have a child. I just thought that was bizarre, but I will say in a lot of scary and horror movies, like, sometimes the characters do the most stupidest and wildest things. Like, why in the world would you forget to lock your front door? Also, another thing is, I just wish there was a little bit more context as to why Frank Carter was so menacing and, like, so evil. And we didn't get a lot of the relationship that he had with his son, who was Francis Carter? Yeah, Francis Carter, who was then, as we know later on, the Whisper Man 2.0. So I just wish there was a little bit more backstory with that. I felt like they had some kind of weird relationship, and his dad was just, I don't know, just creepy and liked to kill, but he also was projecting his wanting to kill onto his son, and it was just, there was a lot of missing gaps that I just wish was answered in this book. Like, why? Why? That's all I'm asking. And I will say this, that I am definitely a person that likes to have answers all the time, so maybe this is just a book that you have to fill in with your own answers. But I at least would have liked to have known. Also, I really want to know when Pete Willis gets hurt, like, was he stabbed? I feel like the story didn't cover that. Like, how did he get hurt, right? Like, How did he die? Like, I know he dies from his injuries, but I just wish there was a little bit more. And I think that was my frustration with it, is that the writing was so good and the story was awesome, but there were so many like chunks within the story that I'm like, but why? Why do we have this, you know? I thought that Frank Carter was interesting because he had this whole like cult following of him, you know, in and outside of the prison. And I just wanted to focus a little bit more on that cult. I don't know, maybe there should be like another addition to The Whisper Man. I know that Alex North has written another book. I forgot what it's called. I'll find it in a second. But maybe there should be an addition to Whisper Man. I would be so interested in reading it. You know, maybe just a little bit of history of Frank Carter, because I just wanted some answers. I just wanted some answers, that's it. But overall, great writing, very chilling, definitely something I would recommend if you want something a little spooky, a little creepy. If you don't get creeped out a lot or you don't get scared easily, then I think this is a perfect book. To me, it was a light scare. If I had to have like a scale of light scare, medium scare, really scary, I would say like light scare. But again, I like to be scared, so maybe to you this may be medium scare to heavy scare. So I don't know, but overall I enjoyed the book. I thought that it was engaging, it was entertaining. I definitely wanted to keep reading. I did not want to put it down, so it was good. All right, so my overall rating of this book, I gave this book a 4 stars. Again, I thought that it was absolutely incredible. I would definitely recommend it. The part where it lost me is that there were a lot of just missing parts that I really wanted some answers to. I thought he could have dove in a little bit more and then focused maybe less on the more, I guess, not substantial details in the book. But overall, highly recommend. 4 stars for me. His other book, I found it. It is called The Shadows by Alex North. It's his second book. Yeah, his second book that he has, I guess, published, or maybe his third. I don't know. But I will say that it is very similar to The Whisper Man, so I'm curious to see how that one goes. I'm going to pick that one up soon. Again, great book. Definitely enjoyed it. Gives me all of the creepy spooks that I was looking for. And yeah, it was a good one. Anyway, I know that was a really short review, but that was pretty much it for the book. I mean, it's something that you just definitely want to read because it is very chilling. I hope you guys do pick it up. If you do, please let me know how it goes. Let me know if you also like the book, if you were scared, if you weren't scared at all. And if you have any scary book recommendations, send it my way because I like a good thrill. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And also follow me on Instagram so you can follow with everything bookish that I do post. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye!